So we are done with a lot of things in the last lecture. We learned about the concept of object-oriented programming, where we learned about how we can create objects, we how we can work with the objects, and what is the difference between static and non-static. Apart from that, we learned the concept of constructor. So we have learned a lot of things. We tried working with few things in case of Selenium as well. Today, what we will be doing is, first of all, we will be having a code that opens the browser dynamically. What does this mean? This means that we need to have some code that allows us to either work with Google Chrome browser or Firefox browser dynamically, right? So how would we be able to do that? Now this can be achieved very simply. We will be picking up some concepts from the last lecture and then we will be moving forward. So let us just do one thing. Let us just create a new class and the class will be, say, dynamic browsers. Now here, what you can do is you can specify the package name as well, right? You can specify the package name directly here. Say this is day 3 and this will be created in that package name. See, I won't be clicking on finish right now. Let me just expand it. You can see that there is default package and there is a day 2 package, right? Right click here, new class, and the package name I'm changing from day 2 to day 3 and I'll just specify the name as, say, dynamic browsers, right? And I'll click on finish. So once I'm able to click on finish, you would notice that the package day 3 has been created, right? So you don't need to create the package first, then the class. You can simply do one thing. You can specify the package name directly while creating a new class. And if that package exists, that is okay. Otherwise, what it will do is it will simply create that package for you. So no need to give an error that okay, package does not exist, first create the package. Okay, so here we will be able to have the package created automatically, no need to worry about it. Now before moving off with anything, before starting with the code, let us just cover few basic things. For example, what happens, what if we have a triangle shown here? What does this mean? See, the thing is that when we have fewer packages and fewer classes, we will be able to get to know where is the problem. But in case of hundreds of classes and hundreds of packages, we won't be able to get to know about where exactly the problem is, why we are getting this kind of a warning or a problem, right? So there is a problems tab. Sometimes what happens is that we accidentally close this tab and we are not able to see the tab here. Now what needs to be done? We need to see the problems. What you can do is that we can go to window, then you can go to show view, and here you can see that there is a view problems. Click here and immediately you will get a view where you can see all the problems in your open projects. Suppose you have 80 projects open, all the problems from all the projects will show up here. So you can expand the warnings. There is a warning that the import is never used. This means that we imported Chrome driver but we never used it. Now this means that there is a import which is not being used or there is some unnecessary import. What you can do is you can remove this import or you have a better shortcut. What is that shortcut? You can organize your imports. You can say you can optimize your imports in one go. How? Control Shift O. This key combination immediately removes all the unnecessary imports. It imports the things that you have not imported. For example, suppose I was working with Firefox driver, but I forgot to add Firefox driver. Control Shift O, it will automatically say add up the import that is required by you. So you don't have to look up for here and there. The thing is that if there are two imports with the same name but different packages, then in that case it will be giving you a prompt which one you would want to use. that we will be learning about later on whenever we will be going through. Right now, there are no such cases in front of me in the next 3 lectures say where you would be able to see such kind of a thing. But yes, whenever we come up with such kind of a thing, I'll let you know that what needs to be done in that. Let's close this now and let's save this as well. So this is done. Now, what about the default package? What if you would want to rename this default package? Would you be able to? Yes, you would be able to. How? Let us just see that. Right click here. Let's see what options we are getting here. We have an option of refactor, but here nothing is there. If I go here in this particular package, if I go to refactor, I'm getting an option of rename. Then what needs to be done? Let us just analyze any of the classes created inside day 2 or day 3 and then the one inside default package. See, this is the class dynamic browsers which was created inside day 3, right? And you can see something there is written as package day 3, right? In basics.java, there is nothing like this. What we can do is we can specify something here. Package say day 01. I have specified it, but the thing is that it is giving me an error warning. The declared package does not match, right? The expected package name. Now you have two options. Either you can remove the declaration of package day 1 or you can simply move basics.java to day 01. So the moment I do this, what it will do is it will create the package day 01 and it will move the class inside that. So whatever package you are using, you would notice something that the packages are named like this, right? Now we are done with the very basics of Eclipse. Now let us just move back to dynamic browsers. What our concern was, we need to open browsers but dynamically. So what all things we would be requiring here? First of all, as we have to run the code, we would be requiring a main method. So main method, type main and then hit control space. It will be giving you a prompt that you need main method. Double click here and it will automatically add up the method stuff for you. So you don't have to type it again. Now you have the main method with you. What else do you need? Now here you need to deal with browsers dynamically. So first of all, what all browsers you would need to deal with? Let me add a comment. Adding a comment is very easy. Hit control key and a forward slash key. It will automatically make that line as a comment. And here what browsers we will be dealing with? We will be dealing with Chrome and Firefox. Right now, we will be dealing with these two browsers, but we will be covering about other browsers in the coming lecture, or maybe in this lecture as well. So here we have two browsers. Now, if we remember something in the last lecture, we learned about how we can open up the browser, right? And we also learned about something, that is how we can deal with the objects, right? We learned about a lot of things regarding objects there. So let us just do one thing. Let us just use both of these concepts and work here. So this means that to deal with Chrome browser, what needs to be done? We need to have the code something like this: Chrome driver, say Chrome. See, it is not suggesting me anything. Why? The thing is that I wrote the whole thing myself, but there is no import regarding this, right? So it doesn't know which Chrome driver. It is asking me to create a constant. It is asking me to say create a local variable. It is not able to understand what needs to be done, right? So let us just do one thing, start typing again Chrome, but I won't type the complete part. What I'll do is I'll hit control space. Now it will suggest me few things: Chrome driver info, Chrome driver log level, and a lot of other things. We need driver. The moment I hit on Chrome driver, it will add up Chrome driver from this package. What is the package name? The package name is org.openqa.selenium.chrome.chrome driver. What does this mean? This means that the base package is org. Inside that, we have a package named as OpenQA. Inside that, we have a package named as Selenium. Inside that, we have a package named as Chrome. And inside that, we have a class named as Chrome driver, right? So this means that these are the package names actually, right? This is the parent one and this one is the child one. Inside this child package, we have the class Chrome driver. Now Chrome driver is here. Let us just initialize its object and reference a reference variable. So here, say Chrome driver equals to new Chrome driver, right? This is how we used to create an object and allocate it to a reference variable. Now in this line, we have done that thing. Now what all things we can do with the driver? Let us just see that now. So here Chrome driver dot, and you can see that Chrome driver provides us access to all these methods. We have a lot of methods here. Suppose I would like to go to a website. So I can use the method get. Get method will allow me to open any web page I would want to. For example, let us just go to say https www dot google dot co dot in, right? And here, if I run the code, what will happen? Let us just see that. So here we are simply opening in the browser, the Chrome browser, and then it is giving me a prompt. What is the prompt? Session not created. This version of Chrome driver only supports this. Okay, so here there is a problem with my Chrome driver. I will tell you how to rectify this issue. You guys may not be able to open the browsers as well. So we will be discussing about these things in the coming time. Now, the next thing that we have to discuss is, say, suppose the same part of code for Firefox browser. How would we be able to deal with that? So the same thing here, what we have to do is that we need to specify Firefox driver, say Firefox driver equals to new Firefox driver, and here Firefox driver dot get, and we can open the page, that is https www dot google dot co dot in forward slash, right? Let me just comment out this part of code for Chrome because it is not working right now. Let us just run the code for Firefox browser and you would notice that the browser is opening. It will be taking us to google.com, right? So here this means that we are able to open up the browser. We are able to go to the website that is intended by us. Now suppose I would need to decide this thing dynamically. How would I be able to do that? Now doing this is very simple. Let us just have a if condition statement. And here what we will be doing is we will be specifying few things. What all things we will be specifying? Say if condition. The condition is very simple. There is a variable name browser name equals to say Chrome or Firefox. Now, whenever it comes to strings, we cannot compare the data directly like this. We need to compare the data like this, dot equals, and then we will be able to do that. But right now it is not suggesting me. Why? Because it doesn't know whether the browser name variable exists or not. So string browser name equals to the data. Say I would like to go with Chrome. Although it will not work right now, but still we can say simply specify the browser name. Browser name dot equals, and we can compare it with Chrome. If it is equals to Chrome, then it will be opening Chrome browser. So let us just have the code for Chrome browser specified inside this. This is done. What if it is not a Chrome browser? So else if browser dot equals, say what is the browser name? Say Firefox, right? And here I'll put the code of Firefox browser inside. So this is done. This was very simple, and we just added few lines of code right now, but you'll get to understand this thing later on. Let us just specify the browser name as Firefox for a while, right? And here, if I run this code, it will open the Firefox browser by default because we have told it to deal with Firefox browser only. Right now, we are just opening the page. So suppose we have hundreds of steps in one word. Say 100 more steps. So it doesn't matter which browser we are using. This means that the Chrome browser will also be having 100 more steps, right? Now this means that this defies the laws of reusability, right? And here we will not be able to manage the code properly whenever we have 100 or 200 more steps of lines of code to write. Now, what needs to be done in this case? There are a lot of solutions for this. Let us get to the one of the best and efficient solutions. What we will do is we will make use of a concept known as interface. What is an interface? Now, interface is something, just a second. Interface is something that will allow you to, right, have few things with you. First of all, it will be providing you a frame, right? What kind of a frame? It will set the protocol that suppose there is a class should have few things. What all things it should have? Suppose I would want a class to have any class that I'm implementing, I'm making, it should have few things. What all things it should have? Say it should have the uh, required features. For example, let us consider a phone. We have phones, we all have phones. We are able to send SMSs through it. We are able to make calls through it. Although there are different types of phones we have. We have phones from different brands, for example, Apple, OnePlus, Samsung, then some other players like Xiaomi, Micromax, and a lot of other players. So there are many brands. There are brands like Nokia as well. So here, how all these brands are able to communicate with each other. There is a say there is a protocol set that each and every brand has to have these two features: SMS and calls, right? This doesn't mean that Apple is making a phone, so they won't be putting in this feature. Every phone has to say provide these two facilities, and the facilities should be something like it is independent of the manufacturer, right? It doesn't mean that Apple is not providing calling facility but OnePlus or Samsung is providing, right? There are few basic things that every operator, every say manufacturer has to provide. So we are just saying that there is a protocol set, there are some set of rules set for the say companies that have to say make a phone, right? In case of Java, what we can do? So in case of Java, what we can have is we can have an interface. Let us just create a new interface. Creating interface is very easy. You can see that there is an option of interface. You can simply specify the name here. We'll specify the name as phone. Now I'll create an interface phone. What I will do is I will just specify things here inside this interface. What all things I would like to specify? Now that depends. Say every phone has two features, say call and SMS. So public void call, right? We can have a method, but the thing is that we won't be specifying the method here. We will be just telling that there is a method call that exists, right? In the same way, we will have another method public void SMS, but we will not describe anything inside. We are just defining the methods that okay, there are two methods, call and SMS, and you just need to have these two methods. So we created an interface. Now this is done. Now what's next is something that is important for us. What we will be doing is, let me just close out of the classes now. What we will be doing is we will be creating another class, say Apple phone. But what I'll do is inside this class, I will be specifying something that will make sure that the calling feature and SMS feature is provided in this particular class. So here implements say phone. Now as I've specified this thing, immediately it will give me a warning that there is some problem. What is the problem? Let us just go there. The type Apple phone must implement the inherited abstract method phone.call. So add unimplemented methods. The moment I do this, you can see that it is just giving me two methods to implement, call and SMS. I did not implement those methods here. I just specified the names. But the implementing class has to do that, right? So here I can specify that I can print something here, say calling using Apple phone, right? In the same way, I can specify for SMS. So here system.out.println and SMS using Apple phone. A very simple thing, right? Now let's do one thing. Let's create another class where we will be testing all these things. So say test phone, right? Now here in test phone, what we will be doing is we will be specifying something. First of all, we will be having main as we have to run this particular class. Now here what I'll do is I'll initialize Apple phone. But first let us just try initializing phone class. Right? Phone is the interface. The phone equals to new phone. See something. I'm not able to deal with phone interface directly. So this means that we cannot interact with interface. This means that I can do something so that I can deal with the interface. I have an implementing class, right? Apple phone, Apple phone, Apple phone equals to new Apple phone. And you would notice something. I'm able to deal with it now. So Apple phone dot call and Apple phone dot SMS, and I'm able to have these things. Let us just try running the code. Control F11 is the shortcut key that I will be using to run my code all the time. I may not be clicking here, so don't worry if I'm running the code. This means that I'm just using the shortcut key that is Control F11. In case if you guys are using laptops, then you may need to keep the Fn key pressed as well. It all depends on the shortcut keys behavior that you have set on your laptops. Now here you can see something calling using Apple phone, SMS using Apple phone. This means that we are able to implement the class and we are able to deal with the object and we are able to call the methods as well. This is about Apple phone. Now the thing is that phone is an interface which has specified few things, right? It has told us that there is a call method, there is a SMS method. All the implementing classes, right? Say some class is here which will be implementing this thing, right? So here it will also need to specify these two things, Apple, right? So call and SMS. What if another class wants to do this? Would we be able to? Yes, we will be able to. All we have to do is that we just need to specify these methods. We can have any number of classes implementing the same interface. There is no limit on count. This means that here, if I do something, I create another class, right click, new class, and I'll specify the name as 1 plus phone, right? Now here is the option of specifying the interface directly as well. Click add, look up for phone and click here, and you're done. It will automatically add up all the things that you would need to have, right? You would need to have a methods implemented automatically. So it is just giving you a statement where you just need to write the method stuff. And here we can specify, say, calling using 1 plus phone, right? And here SMS using 1 plus phone, right? Let me just rectify the spelling mistake. Now here this is done. If I go back to testphone.java, this means that I can deal with 1 plus phone as well. So here 1 plus phone equals to new 1 plus phone, and here 1 plus phone dot call 1 plus phone dot SMS. And if I run this code, you would see that this is executing well, right? Calling using 1 plus phone and SMS using 1 plus. This also means that I can have any number of classes. So let us just quickly add one more class, say BlackBerry, right? BlackBerry was the company which used to rule the market at some point of time, right? So let us just use this interface once again, and I click on finish. Now here the same thing I will be specifying, say calling using BlackBerry phone, right? And here say SMS using BlackBerry phone, right? These two things are done. Now what I have to do is I just need to modify my code here. What I have to do, BlackBerry phone, say BlackBerry phone equals to new BlackBerry phone, then BlackBerry phone dot call and BlackBerry phone dot SMS. Now here, if I run this, you would be able to see the similar kind of output. Now, what is the same pattern here? We are noticing a pattern. We have call and SMS feature everywhere, right? Now, what if I try something like this? Like what? Let us just see. Here, I'll do one thing. I'll create the variable from phone interface. Phone equals to new, and I create the object of implementing class. For example, Apple phone, right? Here, what I'll do is I try, say, calling in the methods, say phone dot call and phone dot SMS. What kind of output I will be getting? Notice one thing, the above code is completely commented out. This means that this will not be executing. Only this part will be executing. Control F11. Now you'll see that it is printing calling using Apple phone and SMS using Apple. What if I modify this? Instead of Apple phone, what if I specify BlackBerry? Question is, would it work? Let us just see that. Control F11 and you can see that it is now printing as calling using BlackBerry phone and SMS using BlackBerry phone. What's fishy out here? Let us just try with OnePlus Phone as well. Maybe there is something that we are not able to understand. See, it is now printing as calling using OnePlus Phone and SMS using OnePlus. So what happened here actually? Let us just see that. So here, let me just clear out everything. We need just a second. This display to be closed. I need everything here. Let us just close this. Okay. So here, what exactly happened? Let us just see that. This is the code, right? And now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to initialize the object and I'm trying to allocate it to a variable. Question is what variable? So this is the object that I'm creating. So the object is this, and I'm trying to allocate it to a variable of type phone. This means that I can have a variable of an interface and I can create an object and allocate it at that object of the implementing class. This means that phone can have access to the methods like call and SMS, which are actually defined by the phone interface itself, right? Remember, call and SMS are something that phone told Apple phone, OnePlus phone, and BlackBerry phone that okay, you need to have these things if you want to deal with me, right? So what Apple phone, OnePlus phone, and BlackBerry phone did, they just implemented these things. So here, if I go to test phone and if I specify BlackBerry phone, it will be printing BlackBerry phone directly, right? So the thing is that we are now able to dynamically choose what kind of say things we would be dealing with later on, right? This means that here, in case of Selenium, we have the similar methods, right? If I go to say, where is that class BlackBerry dynamic browsers, you can see that we have the same method get, right? Get. This means that these classes are also implementing some kind of interface. Let us just check that. So here, Selenium dev, and here what we'll do is we'll go to downloads, scroll down a bit, and here we will go to API docs. Here inside API docs, what we will be doing is we will be looking up for Chrome driver. Control F, Chrome, right? So here this is Chrome. We will be having Chrome driver here. Now Chrome driver, this is a class Chrome driver, and here all implemented faces. You would notice that there is an interface named as WebDriver. WebDriver is an interface that Chrome driver is implementing, but other classes are also implementing. For example, Chromium driver, Edge driver, event firing WebDriver, then Firefox driver, Internet Explorer driver, Opera driver, Remote Web driver, and Safari driver. What all these drivers are for? Chrome is for the Chrome browser. Chromium driver is for the open source version of Chrome browser, which does not include Google. Edge driver is for Edge browser. Event firing web browser is for special purposes. We will be learning about that later on. Then Firefox driver is for Firefox browser. As the name says, Internet Explorer, it is for Internet Explorer browser. Then Opera browser. Remote web driver is for Selenium Grid. We will be dealing with this. So we will be learning about how we can deal with this actually. And the Safari driver. Out of all these drivers, ignore the majority. We will be basically dealing with Firefox browser and Chrome browser, right? In case if you have a special requirement of other browser, all the commands in all the browsers will remain same, right? Why? The thing is that WebDriver is an interface which is specifying few things, which is specifying the basics. For example, you would want to close the current browser? Yes, you can. This is the command. You would want to go to a URL. Yes, you can. We tried this as well, right? Load a web page in new in the current browser window, right? Get method. We used it. There are a lot of other methods as well that we will be using, and all the methods are specified by this interface only. So all the methods that we will be using will be provided by this interface. Now this means that we can deal with the browsers dynamically but in a different way now. How? Let us just see that. So what I'll do is I'll try initializing the browser in a separate way. How? Web driver equals to new Firefox driver. Will it work? Let us just see that. So here driver.get google.co.in, right? So here driver.get google.co.in, control F11. Let's see what happens here, whether we are able to execute it or not. And you can see that we are able to deal with the browser. This means that now here I can save my lines of code by just specifying something. What? Let us just see that here. So here, what I'll do, I'll initialize the driver as null right now. And here, the next thing that I would do is I'll just add up the conditional stuff once again, but with a twist. What is the twist? Let's see that twist now. So the twist is this, that now we know that the browser is Chrome browser, right? So driver equals to Chrome driver. We won't be needing these two lines. Why? Because we have initialized the browser, nothing else. We just have to do say deal with the say initialization of driver, nothing else. So driver equals to new Firefox driver. We will remove all the other lines, and here now it will open Firefox browser and it will take us to say google.co.in, right? Now this was about the benefits of using say a interface. Now there are a lot of other things involved with the interface as well. For example, let us just go back to the basics again. Here we have phone.java. Phone.java specifies call and SMS. But as Apple is a company who wants to provide some more functionality, for example, say public void FaceTime, right? So here I can print FaceTime call. Now this is a feature provided by Apple itself, right? This means that this feature may not be provided by the implementing, say, other classes. For example, BlackBerry phone. BlackBerry had its own feature. What was that feature? A very famous feature that was, say, BBM, right? Although that later came up to all of the say devices, but it was a feature exclusive to BlackBerry for long. So here, say BBM message, right? Here, this is done. On the other hand, OnePlus does not have any special feature right now. So what we will be able to do in test phone? What if I try, say, doing something? I'll just try running the code once again right now. You can see that these are the two things that we are able to execute. And instead of phone, I'll just specify this as BlackBerry phone. And I specify something phone dot say BBM. I'm having this feature. If I run this, you would see that it is telling us that BBM message here, right? Now, let's change the object from BlackBerry phone to Apple phone. I need to update it here as well. Apple phone. Now, BBM is not a feature available here, but there is a feature known as FaceTime. Let us just run this. Control F11 and you can see that FaceTime call. So this means that it is able to have those features. But what if I try using it with the interface? Right? The object reference is of type interface. Right? The variable type is phone. It is not the class name itself. It is the name of the interface. Right? So here, would I be able to call FaceTime? No. Would I be able to call BBM? No. Why? The thing is that this interface phone did not specify those methods. This means that we can only call up those methods which are specified by the interface itself. We cannot go beyond that. We will be able to call only those methods which are specified by the interface only. Although, what if, in case if we have hundreds of other methods as well? No, we will not be able to deal with them until or unless the object is allocated to a reference variable which is of type interface, not the class name itself. But the moment I change it from, say, interface to the class name itself, it will immediately allow us calling out all the methods that are specified by the class itself. So what are these methods called? So these are called the, say, the methods which, what was the word I just off my mind? Custom methods, right? Proprietary methods. These are the proprietary methods specified by the class itself. These have nothing to do with the methods specified by the interface itself, right? This means that in case if we are having the object, say variable, right? Object allocated to a variable which is of type interface, then only those methods which are specified by that interface we will be able to call them. Other methods we will not be able to call them at all. And this is the reason why it is not able to call BPM or even face. This is the only reason, right? Any other feature we specify in the phone interface, we will be able to call that feature immediately without even worrying about whether what will be the implementation of an Apple class or a BlackBerry class or a OnePlus class, right? So this is how these stand helpful for us. Now let us just have a break of 5 minutes, then we will be continuing again. You guys can have a glass of water. So everyone clear with this concept of interface? Or you want me to elaborate a little bit more? Okay, so let's now switch to Selenium part. We are done with the basics of Java that was required. We will not be dealing this much Java now. We will not be dealing this much with the concepts of Java. Yes, we will be using Java in case of Selenium. And whenever we require something, we will be learning that topic at that time. We will not be learning Java first and then Selenium. Java is completely done now. Whatever is required later on, we will be just learning that part, and then we will be trying to implement that part in Selenium. So this is what scheme that I will be following, because see, if I make you learn Java first and then Selenium, then you won't be able to understand a lot of things. It is a best practice when you have some example to try on as well, right? So if we have an example of Selenium, you would be able to understand those things more clearly. Now here, the first thing you would have noticed something, that whenever I'm trying to deal with, say, Chrome browser, I'm getting error. And many of you guys may not be able to open browsers at all as well. What are the problems? Let us just resolve that problem first. I'll change the browser name to, say, Chrome, and I'll try running the code. Control F11. You can see that there is some log and then the browser is not opening. Right now, I'm getting an exception. Let's not get into that exception type. Let us just have the code for other browsers as well. For example, what if the browser is say browser name dot equals, say the browser name is Edge, right? So here, or Opera. So here driver equals to new Opera driver, and this is done. And here if I specify the browser name there as well. So what kind of problem we will be running into? It is telling us that illegal state exception. Now this is the exception many of you guys will be having in case you guys have not dealt with Selenium at all in the past. So what does this tell you? So here there are few things. The path to the Selenium driver executable, or say the executable, must be set by the property webdriver.opera.driver, right? Now this means that if you need to deal with Opera browser, you need to specify the property. What is the property? So the property is this, that is system dot set property, and the property name is webdriver dot opera dot driver. In the same way, we will be able to see the problem for Firefox and the, say, Chrome browser as well. So here what needs to be done? Now there needs to be something specified. We need to specify a file path here, right? That will be, say, path complete path to driver executable, right? And a semicolon in the end. If we specify this thing, you will be able to deal with the browser, right? Now, what are the two requirements? The first requirement is, say, driver executable. Second requirement is, say, browser itself, right? If you don't have any one of these, you will not be able to deal with that browser in case of Selenium, right? Now here, let us just remove this whole part for Opera browser because we will not be dealing with Opera browser at all. Majority of the companies deal with Firefox or Chrome. They try to optimize their websites for three browsers. Internet Explorer is completely phased out now, so you won't be dealing with Internet Explorer at all. It has been deprecated completely. So there are three major browsers, that is Edge, there is, say, Chrome, and there is Firefox, right? So these are the three major browsers that you will be dealing with. People using Apple may be dealing with Safari as well. The driver is not that stable, but still you can try working with it. Opera driver is completely unstable. It stops working at any time. This is the same scenario with, say, the other browsers, Chrome and Firefox as well, but still the driver is much more stable. So the most stable driver will be for Chrome and Firefox only. I'm considering these as unstable, but still these are the most stable drivers. Okay, how to install the driver and how to deal with the browser, right? First of all, I need to deal with Chrome browser. Let's go here to the official website selenium.dev. Go to the download section. Here in the download section, if we scroll down a bit, we get to see this page where we can see, say, support stuff for Selenium. Then if we scroll a bit more, keep on scrolling, you will see something. You'll see browsers listed. Open here. These are the browsers supported by Selenium. Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, Opera, Chrome, right? Edge. So these are the things which we require. Now list out the browsers that you would want to have. I would want to deal with Firefox. Control click here so that you can open the link in a new tab. Go back, control click here for documentation of Chrome. Right here, go back and you can see that the web driver, say the site is sites.google.com/a/chromium.org/chrome driver. Now, this is the driver provided by Google itself, right? Here, if we go scroll down, you would see that there are some versions. Now, first of all, you would need to know that which version of Chrome you are using. Click on this triple dot, then go to help, then go to about Google Chrome. Make sure that which version of Chrome you are using. Right now I'm using 87.0.4280.66. Right? Go back to that site. I'm I'm using 87.0.4280. Ignore the last trailing to last section. Right? The major thing is the major version, that is 87 or 86. I'm using 87. Click here, it will start downloading a file. Which file you need to download? Win32, Mac 64, Linux 64. There are three operating systems supported by Chrome. You can download any of the files according to your operating system. I'm using Windows 64-bit. I need to download this 32-bit version because there is no 64-bit version of the driver for Windows 64. Right? Let it download. Keep the file somewhere. Where you would want to keep the file? Let us just keep the file in my A drive root. Right? Let me just move this INI file. Let us keep it there. This is the file location. Now, going back to the code, here I'll specify something system dot set property webdriver dot chrome dot driver, and here I'll specify the path of that file. What is the path? It is in A drive, then chrome driver dot exe. In your case, it may not be exe if you are using Linux or Macintosh. You just need to specify the file name in the same pattern and you're good to go. So here, let us just try running this. It is giving us an exception. Why? Because the thing is that it is still looking up for Opera. Let us just look up for Chrome. Run this code and you can see that the browser has opened. It will be taking us to google.co.in. This is what I specified, right? In the same way, let us just deal with Firefox browser as well. See, in my case, I've not specified this line for Firefox browser, but the browser is still opening, right? What have I done? If I run this Firefox, you can see that Firefox is opening immediately. So what is the difference here? What have I done? The thing is that the thing is very simple actually. I have this file with me. I'll keep it in a directory which I won't be dealing with much, but I'll keep all my drivers in one location. So I'll just move this Chrome driver inside a directory known as, say, A Essentials web driver. Here I'll paste this file. Now this is the file where what happened. This Chrome driver. Okay, it is open. Just a second. Details. There is Chrome driver opened somewhere. Okay, so it is an A Essentials web driver. We'll just replace the file. Right now, here this is the directory where I've kept all the WebDriver executables. Copy this path, and what you have to do is remember we configured Java the same way we will be configuring this as well. Say what you have to do, you need to look up for environment variables, edit the environment variables for your system or your account. Go here, go to the path variable and specify that path. You would notice something, my WebDriver path has already been specified here. This was the reason my code was automatically picking up the driver, right? Save it, restart your Eclipse. In case if it is still not opening the browsers, restart your machine as well. Once done, as you can see that I've replaced the Chrome driver. Now, if I run my code for Chrome, it will execute. Control F11 and OK. Why it is not executing? Because it is not able to find Chrome driver.exe here. I'll remove this line. Control F11 and you can see that the code is executing, the browser is opening, it will be taking us to say this side. We can close the browser as well by simply adding one line driver dot close. And here after opening the page, once the page load is complete, the browser will be closed automatically. Done. Say Firefox, control F11 and you can see that the same thing for Firefox as well. And let's try with the Internet Explorer as well, right? So here, else if say browser name dot equals, what is the name? Say IE. So here driver equals new Internet Explorer driver, and here nothing else. Everything else will remain same. So here now you can see that okay, I did not change the browser name. IE. Control F11. Now you can see that it will be opening Internet Explorer. But there are few things that are involved with Internet Explorer in case if you still want to deal with. So Internet Explorer, go here in the settings menu, right? And move to Internet Options right now. It is showing me this thing. Move to Internet Options. Here inside Internet Options, go to Security and uncheck Enable Protected Mode everywhere. Make sure that enable protected mode is completely disabled. Second thing, make sure that you move it to medium or lowest possible everywhere. See, there is option for low, move it to low, move it to medium here. Make sure that enable protected mode is disabled everywhere. Another thing, go to settings, make sure that the zoom level is set to default. In case if you have Windows and if you go to display settings, you see something here, you see some value here. For example, it is not 100%, it is 125%. Make sure that this is set to 100% as well, otherwise you will not be able to deal with the Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is a browser that causes a lot of trouble, right? But yes, once these things are done, you will be able to deal with the browser normally. Going back to this now, so here with the help of this code, we will be able to deal with the browser very simply. We don't have to say think of a lot of other things. And you can see that with the help of a simple code, we are able to open up the browsers and deal with those browsers as well. In the next lecture, what we will be dealing with is we will be learning how Selenium works on page source. We will be analyzing the page sources. We will be analyzing the pages in different browsers, for example, Firefox and Chrome. And we will be learning a lot of other things regarding the, say, web pages and how we will be dealing with the, say, web pages inside Selenium, right? This was for today's lecture. If you have any queries, you can feel free to ask.
You said to keep the driver exe file in a particular folder, right? So
Right.
can we keep it in any other folder, like where we have saved our workspace or, you know?
You can keep it. The thing is that you need to specify the path. See, I have
Okay.
specified this path, WebDriver
Yeah.
path, inside my, say, a path variable. I've just
Yeah.
added this path. You just need to specify that path there. so that the executable should be picked up automatically. You don't have to change the path here inside the code every time you are dealing with it, right? I specified the physical path here, so you should not be specifying that physical path, say here, because what happens is that in case if you provide the code to someone else, he may be changing the path. What happens is that in case if the person is not able to understand what is the problem, he will not be able to execute the code. But if you specify the directory directly, then you don't have to deal with such things. You don't have to deal with such configurations, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
be
Understood.
picking up the path automatically.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Feel free to ask any questions. If you have questions related to older lectures as well, don't worry.
It seems like when we have like two, three packages, it's okay. But how do you deal with lot of packages? Like, it seems a bit confusing, right? I don't know. Maybe because I'm a beginner.
See, the thing is that if we have all the classes in one go, see, if I have basics in one same package and then animal and test animal in one package, and say all these in one package. Right now, we are still able to count these. The benefit of using packages is that they allow us to subdivide things. For example, today we learned about interfaces, so we can divide these classes for interfaces, right? For example, let us just move to Selenium here. Selenium has different packages for different things. For example, here Selenium driver, right? org.openqa.selenium.chrome. If I see here, there are only few classes inside it. Chrome driver info, Chrome driver log level, Chrome driver service, and Chrome options. In the same way, we will be having different classes for, say, other browsers. For example, Edge. We have the classes for Edge, and the package name is different now. Right now, what they have done is they have subdivided into everything, say, different classes. In a single jar, what you will see is you will see all the packages listed in one place. The best thing that you can do is you can simply see that the which package you would need. For example, you would need Edge browser, right? So you will be looking for, or then OpenQA, then Selenium. After Selenium, you know that there is a package named as Edge. So you will be looking up for Edge and you will be getting the things related to that Edge browser only, Edge driver only. You will not be getting things for, say, Firefox, right? This will be the immediate next package after Edge browser. So you will not be getting to see all these things that are for Firefox, right? This helps us in managing the code whenever we have lots and lots of class files to manage. The thing is that suppose, say, you have a specific functionality. Now you don't want that functionality to be messed up with some other functionality, right? You would want the other guy to read out your code and read out your classes and deal with the required stuff only. Then what you can do is you can simply subdivide your classes into different packages so that only the required stuff is shown up. For example, here Edge, I just want to deal with Edge. I don't want to see the things related to Firefox. Now here I know that to deal with Edge I have this Edge driver class, I have Edge driver info class, I have Edge driver service class, and I have Edge options class. But to deal with Firefox, here I have different classes. Class path extension, executable class, extension class, file extension class, Firefox binary, Firefox driver, and a lot of other classes. So it depends what, say, what is our requirement and what all things we would want to keep in that requirement so that we don't have to look up for other things. It is just that we are organizing stuff in our Almira, right? We know that in this section we will be keeping our t-shirts, in this section we will be keeping all our say jeans and all stuff, right? So we know that where what is kept so that we can simply go there and pick up the item that we require.
Okay. And Abhishek, these messages, like warning sort of messages, that that's as usual? Is it like when we open the browser?
Right. These are just the logs. You can ignore these. These are just the logs provided by different driver executables. So you don't need to worry about this. These are not the error messages. These are just the logs. It is just telling us that it has started Internet Explorer. The version of Internet Explorer driver is this 3.150.101.0. The port number on which it is dealing with Internet Explorer is 27135, and it is telling us that it has created a session with the Internet Explorer. So it is just telling us the things that what it has achieved with the driver. The driver has achieved with the browser. For different browsers, the logs are different. If I change it to, say, Firefox, Firefox is the browser which provides us a lot of logs. You can see that the screen will fill up immediately,
Right.
right? So here you can see that these are the logs for just the same thing that Internet Explorer did and Chrome did, right? So it is just
Right.
giving us the logs, no need to worry about these logs. Whenever there is a problem, you will be getting the problem in the form of exception. Whenever there is an exception, it will tell you what is the solution and how would you be able to understand that problem. We will be dealing with exception handling in the coming lecture. So you'll get to know about that thing, how we will be, say, getting to know that what kind of problem it is and what is the solution for that kind of a problem.
Okay. And I have one more question, Abhishek. Like when I was installing Eclipse and JDK, um, it didn't show me any compiler option. Like, the drop down will come, isn't it? Like JDK 1.8 or 4, 14 or 15. So it didn't show me any, drop down options. So I uninstalled a couple of times, and then again, when I installed, it's coming, and it's okay. So have you faced this issue before?
Uh, can you show me your screen so that I can understand it more clearly?